Hey everyone. Oh, I see Santana. You came in. Nice. There's Bell.
Hi, Jakey.
What's up?
How are you?
Oh man, I've been waiting for this session all day. You know what? I don't love 4 o'clock sessions because it means I have to wait.
I know, right?
Hey, what happened to your shirt?
It got lost in the mail, didn't you hear?
Yeah, that's great. Hi Santana. Thanks for joining us. This is great. What we're going to do for people joining, Michelle and I are going to hang out and banter for a few more minutes. And I'll pull up the PowerPoint that we're going to work from, and then we're going to dig in. This session, for those who are on here, is going to work really well if you ask us questions as we go, because we both love to talk.
Well, especially about this topic, right? Like this is one of our
Big
favorites.
time. It
But
is.
Jake, did you see who joined me over by the guitar? Can you see? Miss Katie.
Is Katie over there? She's buried in blankets. That's
She's
awesome.
I want the life of these dogs. Like they sleep all day.
Michelle, when we were, you had said, did you pull examples too? I know we're going to share them, but I went around and like, I pulled this guy, which I just got over. This is a binge watching survival kit, which came to me over COVID, and it was like
That
mind
I
blowing.
sent you that.
This came from I belong to a group of friends who send stuff around at points, and this is one of the things that came. It came with all these little pieces inside of it too. I grabbed that, and I grabbed some other things. I
Yeah.
won't tease my surprises, but I've grabbed a few different things.
I mean, we have examples, Jake, in our presentation, but I actually have physical samples here too. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
me too. So how's your day going?
It's great. I've been playing around on the platform and enjoying it all. And I love watching the chat. The live chat is fantastic. It's so robust.
I know. Hi, Kim. Like, I love that we can interact with people that are just right here so that their chat comes up. It was one of the things that I didn't love that in the Power Summit. We couldn't see like live responses, but this we can. So this is awesome. I hope everyone's having as much fun as I am. I've been popping into booths left and right today.
Yeah, no, that was the thing about the Power Summit. It's like you felt like you were kind of talking into a void, like, is anybody there? Is anybody hearing us? But
Yeah.
Michelle is not going to play guitar, Ryan. I can't play. I will spare all of you that.
Oh my God, I could get my guitar from upstairs, but I feel like that would be like defeating the purpose. Not a very good guitar player. Yeah, Freebird. I love the call, Ryan. That's great. Send out the Freebird calls throughout our class. That'll be
Ryan,
perfect.
I think we'll appreciate our last slide, Jake, where we talk about our self promo.
Oh, our self promo. Yeah. You know what? That's been a hot topic today. A lot of discussions going on. I guess with the more states legalizing cannabis, it's gonna be a growing industry. It's already a growing industry, but it's hot.
You made a pun. I saw what you did.
I see we've got about 2 minutes left, so I'd love to be on and just talk, but let me grab our PowerPoint. I'll put it up on screen. We'll be all set. Hold on a sec.
Go. I'll stay on screen.
Cool.
So, for those, again, hi guys, I'm Michele Bell, and I work in the editorial and special events and education teams. And Jake, who's with me, is ASI's executive creative director. And I've been with ASI for about 24 years now. And Jake, I'm going to guess 13?
13.
I was right. 13 years. So
Yeah.
we've both been around for quite some time and love what we do. Jake is on the marketing side of the company and I'm more on the editorial side, but our roles overlap. So we get to work together quite a bit. And this is a topic that we collaborate on quite a lot because we just love the power of lumpy mail.
We do. I mean, between the two of us, we must get, well, I mean, I probably get 15 to 20 lumpy mail pieces a year, and Michelle probably gets 80 to 90.
Love every
It's,
one of them. Love
it,
every one of them.
it's awesome. I mean, it really is. Hi, Karen Coates. I see you out there. I see everyone. Shout outs to everyone that we know, and to those we don't know, you'll know us soon. So we've got 4 o'clock on the dot right now, and I know that we've got a bunch to get through. So let's kick this off. Welcome to Snail Mail on Steroids, how to pump up your profits with lumpy mail. And I'm Jake Krolick. As Michelle said, I'm our executive creative director, and my wonderful cohort is Michele Bell, who, Michele, you have a new title now.
Can we just call me Queen of France? It's so much easier.
Can I just call you Queen of ASI? We'll
Sure.
just do that for now. But you could be Queen of France. So
here's what I would say. We will always be keeping one eye on the chat, you guys. So if anybody has any questions, as Jake and I are delving into this, just type them up and one of us will be watching. So we'll be paying attention. Also, at one point during this, we're going to have a little quiz question that the first person who gets it right gets a $100 Amazon gift card. So without further ado, Jake, you want to jump right in?
Let's jump in. So why do we want to use lumpy mail or custom mailers? This is a question that comes to us a lot of times. And one of the biggest things, and I'm going to take a run out on this one because it makes me so excited. Anytime I get a package in the mail that has like some thickness to it, it's got a lump in it or something, I feel like I'm a kid at Christmas. It makes me go, I have to open this. Even in COVID, when we let our mail sit for 24 hours because we're that crazy, I'd still open up the lumpy mail packages and wash my hands then.
Well, of course, I think, Jake, that it's the excitement of getting a gift. I mean, who doesn't like to get gifts? It's, the thing that stands apart from literally the difference between a flat mailing envelope and something that, another name for lumpy mail, which is quite literally, they call it lumpy mail because the package has some three-dimensional, properties to it. So there's just something about the tactile nature of feeling and seeing and shaking something that you've been sent that you really want to open it and you're just so excited. And, for the distributors who do it, here's what I'll say, and we'll get into this more, but it is a wonderful vehicle for self-promotion because more often than not, when you send something that's three-dimensional or lumpy mail to your clients, they will then reach out to you and want to do that same promotion for themselves. It's got a wonderful kind of domino effect to it.
Big time. Yeah. People love to look when you see something you like to copy it. And people are naturally curious. Who doesn't love a mystery? I love to solve mysteries. I love intrigue. When you get a package, you're naturally curious. What's inside of this thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So let's dig in and let's talk about some of the benefits of lumpy mail. And the first, and maybe one of the largest things, let's get right to the bottom line, is it generates leads.
It sure does.
It's one of the biggest things. You can't ignore that it works. It has this great effect that people want to take an action. And when you get it, you want to reply and say thank you. It's like getting a gift. What do you do when you get a gift?
And therein lies the key to this, Jake. What it does, especially if you're dealing with prospects and cold calling, it completely warms up the cold call. Because just think of it this way: you send something to a prospect that comes in a box like this, right? Mailer. That person, is going to be so much more likely to reach out to you or take your call when you call to follow up, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're the one who sent me the great gift, the fun item. Oh my God, it was so great. It was so memorable. I showed it to my family," all of that. It warms up a cold call, which is so important.
Yeah, someone I see, there's been some people who've had troubles with this. I believe that Carrie's going to have this at a later date, at least the presentation for people to be looking at.
Okay. Is the presentation, is it working?
For some people someone had an audio video issue. So I think, yes, the presentation will be available later on.
For sure.
So the next thing it does, increase business with your current clients. I mean, this is something like, look, if you've sat with the same clients for years and you want to make a wow and try to get them more excited about what you're doing, think about sending out lumpy mail. It's really one of those things that kind of excites people. Again, it comes back to the mystery, the intrigue, and the fact that you're getting a gift.
Yep. I'm going to give an example real quick because Jake and I both have examples on the screen, but we have examples in our respective homes too. So again, here's just a plain envelope, right? And then I got this sent to me from Don Sanders, who's in the industry, and it's a fairly flat folded microfiber cloth to clean your glasses, to clean your phone. And, it was sent to me in an envelope, and it just gave it that little bit of heft that makes it that much more interesting. It doesn't get stuck in a pile of mail. Another one that we got from Jake and I both got this from our dear friend Rich Carollo at Lion Circle, who's one of our exhibitors. This thing in this super big envelope, again, so smart because it stands out. And inside, what they did was, this was a great self-promo from them. It's this super duper, very excellent, I'm bored out of my mind activity book from Lion Circle. And what they included was these fantastic things that you can use on Zoom calls. So fun. But what Jake and I both loved about it was, they went with the oversized packaging, which is just so important because it gets your attention.
It is. So look, we're trying to keep this to 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to move this thing on. The next bullet that we've put into here is getting in front of hard to reach clients. And I think that I'd like to use this as perhaps one of the most important bullets for Lumpy Mail. I know that everyone has clients that you've called them a million times, you've emailed them, you've set up dates, they're not getting back to you. If you start to dig into that client and you want to reach them with something that will move the needle and get them to call you, Lumpy Mail is the thing. And I want to talk about a quick example. Years ago, I had a colleague, Don Menig, if some of you remember that name, and he and I had worked on a project that was we sent out phones to everyone. They were basically burner phones that you would get for like $10. Mm-hmm. And with them, it was all wrapped in this nice package. And it had, we will call you on this phone on this date. This phone will ring. We didn't give them a lot of information, but we designed our campaign to look like a Get Smart shoe, and the phone was in the shoe. 100% of the people answered the phone. 100%. It is absolutely effective marketing to reach hard to reach clients. Okay, let's see. Making a great first or long-lasting impression.
I've got one here. You ready? So
yeah.
In the beginning of the pandemic, ASI, and I believe that this was Tim and Matthew and Stephanie behind this, they sent out this little box. Now, I kept mine closed because I knew we were going to be doing a Lumpy Mail session. But if you shake it, you can hear that there's something cool going on in there. And what they did was they sent a branded mask to each one of us, each of the employees, and they sent a custom puzzle that was cut into pieces from a big group shot of the ASI team pre-COVID. So they sent a puzzle and a mask with a note just telling us that they were thinking of us. And what a great way to keep a staff connected and feeling together as to send them something like this. And don't discount, by the way, again, sensory reaction. I knew that this was going to be something cool because I could hear the puzzle pieces inside.
Totally. And here's my other tip. Look, all of you launch new products that are suppliers every year. If there's any suppliers in here, as a new product launcher, if you're a distributor and you just want to show the new products that are coming out, a Lumpy Mail kit to your best end buyer, to your best client, may be the best way to show them these things instead of just trying to tell them about them. But I bet most of you do that already. So also as a win back, I mean, there's so many times where you maybe have pissed someone off. I saw a great win back the other day where someone, I'm not going to say the client or the name, but someone upset someone so much that what they did was they made these little voodoo dolls and they mailed them to their client with pins, and it was their face. And they said, we know we made a mistake.
That is
awesome. Try to take out some of your anger, sticking the pins into here. And again, huge responses back. They won back a ton of clients with this.
You know why? You know what they used that was so smart? And we'll get to this. Humor. Do not be afraid to lean into humor.
Oh, God, yeah.
Especially in this day and age with so much going on. That is hilarious. I love that they did that.
Mm-hmm. It's a great win back idea. And again, look, we're in an industry where we all are dealing with similar things and similar products. This separates you from your crowd of competitors. I mean, the more creativity, the more you learn what moves your clients. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot, really digging into who they are personally, because you really want to connect with them, not with something that is just a product, but in a way that moves them to take an action with you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk some numbers. Let's put facts to this. Michelle, I'm not a huge number person, but let's do it.
Neither, but we're going to roll with it. As our CFO will tell both of us, Jake and Michelle are not numbers people.
No. I'm gonna take. If I do this, you're gonna do the second. Then you do. Okay, you're gonna run with this one, so I'll take the second, and then you'll. Oh no, I'll take this one. That's how we'll do this. Direct mail has an average 4.4 response rate. You know what? Let me just pause right there. That's unheard of. As a marketing person, 4.4% response rate is nuts in the digital age that we live in. We threw in the fact of what email gets is an average of 0.12% to 0.15%, but 4.4 response rate is mind-blowing. Michele, here's yours.
Yep. So again, dimensional lumpy mail outperforms standard direct mail by 250%. And again, that is simply because there's a call to action. You're not just sending an envelope, you're sending something that's begging to be opened. And then there's going to be, a correlation with that. Either somebody's going to pick up the phone faster or somebody's going to reach out to you, which is, best case scenario. How great is that?
So good. So let's think about cost, because these are not cheap. We have to sink some money into it. But let's say the fact here is, if you spend $167 on a lumpy mail, you will get, and you will sell in the equivalent of that $2,095 in goods. So we're talking about well over 1,000% return. So you really need to think that this is money well spent. You're going to put your money into something that will have a huge return on it. So before we go to our third bullet, this is our quiz time.
It certainly is. And our colleague Carrie is going to be monitoring the chat. So the first person who responds with the correct answer gets a $100 Amazon gift card. So who can guess the response rate for lumpy mail via percentage? Is it 80%? Is it 40%? So who can guess what the percentage is? Oh, I love all these coming through.
I'm going to let it sit for a bit. Let's see what happens.
Somebody got it.
Someone got it. Yeah. I'm gonna throw it up in right about now.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, it's 100% for sure. So we looked at a couple different studies, and it simply is because I defy you to have a package sent to your house and not open it. It's the, as Jake said, it's the curiosity. It's the idea of getting a gift. It's all of that.
Yeah, and it's great, and it works. And if you connect it with a good call to action, you're going to have success every single time.
Jeff Becker wanted the source of the study, and we can get that for you, Jeff.
Yeah, that was the Direct Marketing Association for most of this, the Data and Marketing Association, DMA, but it'll be in the PowerPoint and you'll be able to see it. So let's move into some case studies, because really when it gets down to it, well, let's see some of the wonderful things that we've seen.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is a really interesting case study, because this is from the Counselor Top 40 Distributor Promo Shop, who wanted to do a virtual event for their clients. And, how do you get people to set aside time, even during a pandemic in their busy day, to devote an hour and a half to an end user show that's being done virtually? So what they did was, you can see the numbers here, they sent it out to 2,500 clients and prospects. And they worked with an industry supplier called Chest, who specializes in custom packaging. And, their response rates here are just phenomenal. Jake and I were invited to sit in on this live event, and it was fantastic. And the one thing I want to point out that they did, they had this whole theme of, pop on by. So they went with pop and the bubbles and things. The bazooka gum was key to this, because when you got this in the mail and you opened it, the smell, they could have gone with any type of gum, because, any gum makes a bubble, right? But bazooka in particular, the scent of it, Jake and I were like,
brings you right back to your childhood. It's a nostalgia win. And I would say to the people on here, look, how many people have a fond memory of the comics with bazooka, or the smell, or even just having to peel off the wax paper around their gum? It brings you right back to something that is nostalgic. And nostalgia for most is a happy thing. It really brings you to something good. And not only did they do that with bazooka, but Michele, we should talk about how they carried their theme through the entire campaign.
Yeah, they did. They really kind of leaned into nostalgia, which I think is such a smart strategy when people are under such stress and duress as they have been, for this past year. So what they did was they made people feel happy and, lighter, and just as a throwback to, a happier retro time. But numbers, by the way, Jake and I can be effusive about this all day, but the numbers really are the proof.
They are. The proof is with the numbers. It's really good. This was a really good example though. So let's move on to our next example. This is Jack Nadel International. And we had talked about this a little bit. This is really one of those, as we're producing more things and we put things out into the world, think about how we can start to recycle some of the products. And that was something that you had pointed out to me, Michele, that if you look at the picture on the right-hand side with the remote mailing, the pieces that they used for filler, Michele, you said those are recycled pieces.
Yeah. So they used like, old curlicues of old paper and shredded it. But, people are so mindful of packaging and waste. But if you do it smartly, it can add to the whole presentation. So these are two distinctly different mailers that they did. The one on the right that says remote, that was for their remote virtual national sales presentation. And they did actually, my mug that I've been drinking from is from that. But I love the curlicues that they used as the filler, as not to be wasteful. And they also leaned into some artisanal California-based, because Jay and I is based in California, items that they curated to kind of tout, where they're from in the local area. The package on the left was fabulous. That was for the holidays. And again, they used items that were, based in the California area, small batch, giving, small businesses a boost. And they really went with green eco packaging, because again, it's just shredded paper and shredded brown paper that they use. But it was really, really clever.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out, notice the handwritten note.
Yep.
Because what a touch when you get someone who actually writes a note to you. Well, it's awesome. I mean, I think that the things that are on there, recycled, handwritten notes, and sourcing locally, showing where you come from and showing those things are all really great things. Should I move to the next slide?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go. Oh, this is Maple Ridge Farms. This was a good one.
This is Maple Ridge Farms. There are two different promos here. I got to give it to Maple Ridge Farms. Another key to this for really being successful is consistency. And they do a self promo. It seems like, certainly once a quarter. It may have been me more than that. But what they did here was they leaned into seasons and what was happening outside. So the chill out box, they sent to people with a coupon for a free pint of ice cream. And I love how they had the scooper engraved. And then they had Sunday toppings. They sent this out during the summer when everybody was just, people had it. It was hot. Who doesn't want to get ice cream and toppings for an ice cream sundae? And the other package that they used was for the holidays. And that is a very smart time of year to be sending self-promo pieces. And they kind of curated a nice blend of their items. And I think they partnered with other suppliers as well, such as the book company. Yeah. But when you work with a supplier who really knows what they're doing in self-promotion, I think sometimes distributors can be hesitant to jump in because there is some cost to this. But suppliers often have a small piece of budget set aside to help distributors with self-promo, where they'll give you a break on some of the items. Look, it benefits them as well. If I'm a recipient and I'm getting this and I say, wow, I love that you sent this to me, Jake, who did this mug? Because maybe I want to use it. That helps the supplier too. So you should always ask your suppliers for self-promo ideas and if they run any specials.
Yeah, and the big thing, I think we maybe skimmed over this, but I think it's really important. You had pointed this out earlier. Think about the timing. Everyone sends things out around Christmas, but why don't you think about maybe sending it out a little earlier? Make sure that you take advantage of other holidays or other times of the year. Connect your self-promo, connect your lumpy mail piece to a time that isn't going to be a popular time, because that's another way of being really clever and standing out. Not when everyone's sending things and their mail is overwhelmed, but when they're not getting something.
Yes. Amy asked who the packaging supplier was. I think that she was talking about the other one. There are a couple really good ones. The Chest does great custom packaging. Lion Circle, the one who sent you and I the big oversized thing, they do a lot of packaging. And then I noticed two, by the way, that were in the new products pavilion that I saw, and I wrote those down.
Yeah, I saw a few there. It was really quite, it was pretty interesting today to see that we had a lot of packaging suppliers.
Yeah. So we'll get those to you guys.
Nice. Cool. let's move on because we've got more slides. So we're talking about City Paper Company. This is so clever. This is such a clever mailer. Michele, this is a distributor mailer?
So this is City Paper Company actually was our distributor family business of the year in 2020. They won the Counselor Award. This they sent out around the holidays, and they tied it in with the sound of music, i.e. their favorite things. So they talked to their employees and they asked their employees, which suppliers have you worked with over the year that have done some really cool things? Then they went to those suppliers and curated the items in this box. But again, it's the detail. Notice the brown paper packages tied up with strings. They have brown paper packages tied up with strings. Also, you can't really see it here, but they used a step and repeat logo on their tissue paper with CPC for City Paper Company. So smart. It's those little details where the success really lives.
And also tapping into so look, there's something else going on here too. They tapped into their employees. And when you are at a loss for ideas, start to talk to the company. Start to work with your whole staff and see what everyone thinks on this. These kind of mailers are usually expensive and they usually take some time to put together. It's really good to get a lot of opinions on that and really to work out some of those things. But I don't want to scare you because I also have an example that got sent to me last week, which was a lumpy mailer. I had purchased this net gator from, I'm doing a tease, this company called High Fives, which is a not-for-profit, and they help kids who get head injuries. And what they did a few weeks later after my purchase, they sent me a thank you note. And in the thank you note was this stack, which made it lumpy, but it's just simply a bunch of stickers. I got all these stickers in a thank you note that came to me. So maybe a lumpy mailer doesn't actually have to be so lumpy. It can actually have things that are flat inside too. And they knew how much I love stickers because I had asked them before for a sticker too.
That's awesome. By the way, I found my little list I made. The Chest, Lion Circle, Independent Folders, who are one of the companies in the New Products Pavilion, and Keepsake Products USA, also in the New Products Pavilion. I know custom packaging and tissue paper, but we will send that out as well.
Awesome. So let's keep moving to our best distributor and supplier self-promos that we saw. The first one is awesome. The Bake It Happen cookie decorating campaign. This was really wild. So this is, again, this is a distributor going out. And they were asking, is this a distributor or supplier, Michele? Let me get this straight.
So the up at the top is a distributor, which is Monarch, and at the bottom, Maple Ridge Farms. And both of these companies, one supplier, one distributor, won our Counselor Promotional Marketing Awards last year in 2020. And if you scroll down below where you see Jake and I, you'll see the full articles. And when we send out this PDF of the slideshow, you'll get to see the full write-ups of the promotions because there's a lot of really great detail in there. But the Bake It Happen cookies, they wanted to make their clients feel like everything was going to be okay in the beginning of the pandemic. They worked with a small bakery and had people bake their own cookies. The key here, though, where they really shined, they had people post photos on social media, and the buzz that
that's the key. These lumpy mailing is only as good as the call to action, because if you're going to sink all this time in, you really need strong calls to action that people understand what you want from them. It's easy for them to do, and you do it quickly, meaning like your responses back to them are immediate. You want their response back to you. You give them like timelines of what to do. And to do a social media campaign like this and to have it generate buzz is awesome. It really is connecting the user of the products to something that they've done creatively, and then they get to share. I really love it.
The other one that they did was they told me that they pick a word every year that they focus on for their promotions. And in 2020, the word was intention. So that got them to pun intended. And they sent out these little mailers with a whole bunch of little cards with fun puns on them. And, it just seems like something fun and silly, yet it garnered a 75% response rate.
It's really good. And then the last one is Maple Ridge's campaign. And I know that March Madness was canceled, but Maple Ridge decided to send this anyway.
They did it anyway, which I think was so key. They very easily could have pulled it back when, March Madness got canceled because of COVID, but they didn't. They stayed with it, and they got like off the charts response because it made people so happy. It was one of those little basketball hoops like you put in your office. Everybody is working in a home office now pretty much, and it just made people really happy. So kudos to them. Things can go wrong. Things can go off the rails, and they kind of rolled with it.
Definitely. So here, let's move on to our mailer. We have been doing a mailer for 7 years now on our own, just Michele and I.
We have. So Jake and I do this. We pay for it ourselves. We don't charge ASI for it. And we started doing it 7 years ago because we were noticing that the cannabis market was growing, no pun intended. And we targeted about, I think at that time, 25 friends of ours in the industry that we just thought would think it was funny if we sent some cannabis-related products. And back then, it was very hard in this industry to find promotional products. Jake and I kind of had to trick things out a little bit. Now that's much different. It's much more readily available.
Yeah,
we did. But you, again, with humor, I mean, it's ridiculous that Jake and I are on a fake Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty album cover looking like jackasses, but there we are. So my point though is, since we first started it, people have heard about it word of mouth. And we have so many people who want to be on the list of recipients. I think we're up to 60 now. And I'm talking the CEOs of top 40 distributors and suppliers. And I think they just truly appreciate the humor. And, what are we going to do this year? Actually, we've just started planning. This is our 7th.
I mean, we've learned a lot. Some of the things that have come out of this is we don't take ourselves too seriously. We 100% have a theme. We follow through with our theme. We built a logo. We do this every single year so that people expect it to happen. We picked a time of year that is different from other times. We really have honed this photo we do every year, that we do it sillier and crazier, and it is carried through. The product itself in our Lumpy mailer is like second case to the creativity that we've put into it. And it becomes sillier and sillier each year. But it has made such an impression. And in the 7 years that we've done it, this market's blown up. This is now a thing. Well, I'm looking at people like Chelsea Handler, who is actually sending out kits now to thousands of people, or people are buying them and around the country. So yay us for being ahead of the curve.
So the detail that we go into, and it's probably because we both have OCD and we're crazy, but to the left where it says Desperados and Degenerates, we were just in a very kind of Laurel Canyon 70s mood that year, and we wanted it to look like a 70s album cover. And on the back, we came up with our own song titles and basically curated a list of our own song titles as if it really was an album. So my point in telling you guys that is have fun with it and really lean into those little details that make it so special.
Jeff, I
and
see
so
your
memorable.
question. I'm going to answer that now, but it's kind of a personal question, Jeff. Whether it's more efficient to do bulky mail program to current client customers or go after new, that really depends on what you're trying to do. You really need to be firm in what your goals are. And some of the things that I would say are, when you start this campaign, what is your marketing? What are you trying to do? If you're trying to go after current customers, does that mean you're launching a new product? Are you trying to win them back? Or are they unhappy with you? Are you feeling some tension? Or are you going after new clients because you want new clients? So it's not efficient to do it one way or the other. I can't really say that. It really is personal to you. Anything you want to add on that, Michele?
No, because I think we'll get to it in the next slide where we just have some do's and don'ts. And the one thing I would say is people get very excited about this topic, which Jake and I love, and they kind of want to get over out in front of their skis. Here's my advice. Instead of doing 300, do 30. Because you're going to want to do very good follow-up and tracking. We would recommend, when you track things that you mail and people get them, the next day follow up. And it's very hard to do 300, 500 pieces and do them well. It's better to start small. And, whether or not you want to, send 30 or 15 to prospects and 15 to current clients who you may not have heard from over the pandemic, maybe that's a way to segregate it.
The first bullet we have up here, know your audience. I mean, this might sound crazy, but know your audience to a T. Like, know what they are into right now. Know what is moving them. And look, you want to put something in front of them that is going to excite them. And so if they're a creative person, then you really want to find creative things to send to them. And pretty much everyone that we deal with in this industry is. So
Yeah.
lean into the theme, lean into the items and the packaging, lean into it all. And once you set a theme, once you have a marketing message or a tagline, really carry that through the entire campaign.
Yeah. I'm going to give an example for the next one. That Cliff Quicksell is speaking tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and he, in my mind, is one of the best creators of Lumpy Mail and self promos. He's won a ton of awards for them, but there's one that he did that he told me about where, lest you think that this has to be a super expensive prospect to do, he wanted to do a mailer where he was going to tell people that he was going to send them a boomerang to basically show the point of, you put something out, marketing out, something's got to come back. But what he did was, his point in the mailer was, if you don't do it, then a boomerang is just a piece of wood. So he went out to his backyard and collected 15 sticks and put those in mailers with a personalized letter and sent it to people. And he said, if you don't put things out, what would a boomerang be? If not, it would be a stick. And I'll give you more ideas that you can shake a stick at. And he got 60% response rate picking up sticks. Awesome. That's what I'm saying. Don't be intimidated. Just do something,
true. It's very true. And we're in such a great industry for different things. We really can find it all. Michele, I know you gave that tip before, but I know you said suppliers have a budget for some of these too. So reach out to the suppliers you want to work with. If you think it's too expensive, they may help you.
They may. I mean, it benefits them too. And the smart ones are so good about giving ideas for self-promo. A couple cautionary tales. Always, before you do a mailer, send one to yourself and a friend just to make sure that, if you're sending like a mug, make sure it's packed correctly. And if it comes back to you broken, you may have to redo your packaging. So always send one or two as like test mailers. Again, another example from Cliff. He one time, being very clever, sent a mailer that the thing, I think it was from one of our Blinky suppliers, and it would beep, right? Well, the office maybe doesn't like things that are mailed and beep. So all of his packages got pulled. So
I would also say that, I've worked with our production team for years, and because of our experience, I know, go to your post office one morning before you send anything out and have a chat with them, give them the actual package, have them weigh it, let them know exactly what it is so you know what you're dealing with. This is going to save you. And trust me, I've had this headache before, so I'm giving you my cautionary tale. This is going to save you having to redo the entire mailer before you even do it. Go to the post office, have a chat with them. Hey, Michele, the third bullet on here screams your name. It says handwritten or personalized letters.
Yeah. Look, I'm watching the comments right now, and so many people agree that is just such a nice touch. I send out Christmas cards every year. I send out about 650 handwritten holiday cards, and I got the most response this year, or the end of last year, from people saying, God, it was just so nice to get an actual handwritten letter from somebody. So don't ever underestimate that emotional connection.
It's really important. Also, you need to set really strong goals. You need a strategy. You need to follow up and execute. And again, within a day of delivery. I've noticed the chat. Someone said send 5 at a time. That's a great idea. It's going to take you a little longer, but it's going to be so easy to follow up so quickly. You want to follow up with someone and you can track everything. You know exactly when it's delivered. I would follow up with them the day they get it or the day after, no later at all. And by setting goals are just know exactly what you want to come, the outcomes from these campaigns. Because if you spend the money, you want to get good outcomes.
Isn't that something too? It seems like, Jake, with so many people doing kitting, mailing, people are picking, higher end items or items with a lot of that they want to connect with people, that they pick with purpose. There's a lot of purposefulness to this, in a willy-nilly way.
And before we flip into questions, I want to end with 3 things. Always consider these questions, because I don't know if Michele and I have talked about this, but always consider these questions when you're putting together your Lumpy Mail. This is like the simple way of doing it. What part of your marketing message can illustrate or communicate that 3D object? So if your message is binge watching with a survival kit, then the kit better have all items that will help you binge watch TV. And then the second part is, how is that object valuable and useful to the person receiving it? Are they going to want it? Is it something that they're just going to go, this is not for me at all, because they don't understand it? And what can you do to make this whole campaign personal?
Yep. Jake, can you put up the last slide with our contact information, since we're almost, and people can email us if they have further questions or they want something. We are happy to send out this presentation to anybody. Somebody had a question about tracking the packages. Yes, yes, and yes. And thank you for asking that question. You should absolutely track the packages so you know when they arrive and so you can follow up the next day. That is when the lead is going to be the warmest / hottest for you to take advantage of. So that was a great question, and thank you for asking.
If anyone has any questions, our email are both sitting up there. Feel free to email us. We both work at ASI and are happy to help everyone. Other than that, I can give it another minute if people want to chat in, but I think that everyone's asked questions. I don't see anything else.
Yes, including the people who've DM'd and asked to be on our mailer list for our 420 campaign,
well,
Jake.
Look, we're very selective, so maybe if you get to know us for a little while, then you can join the list. That would be good.
Who won the contest? Jeff from Promo Hog. Congratulations.
I'm going to stop sharing this. Michelle, that was fun. I love talking self-promo. If anyone wants to ever talk to us again about it, feel free. We do it every year. We love sending out lumpy mail.
How about you and I in the office? We both get so excited when somebody sends us something.
We really do. I literally have a table covered in lumpy mail right now. It's really, for this industry, I'm going to say it's probably one of the greatest tools that we have in our marketing arsenal.
Yeah, I've always lamented over the years. This is why I love Cliff's presentation so much, and he speaks for us at our ASI shows. This is the medium that we're in, promotional products. And, I wish more people took advantage of doing self-promos and lumpy mail, because it's such a bang for your buck.
And we gave you some really good tips on this one. The supplier tip is like one of the biggest tips ever, that suppliers offer incentives and help with pricing and maybe even product for you to send.
Well, what's funny is, because I'm so kind of fanatical about this topic, I'll ask my supplier friends, like, do a lot of distributors ask you? They're like, not as many as you would think.
I know, it's mind-blowing. So, Michelle, you're going to play the guitar?
No, I'm not playing the guitar.
Well, I think that's all the time we've had. We've gone over by a few minutes, but I don't think anyone is upset. It's great to hang out with everyone today. Please join us again tomorrow at this trade show. I think that we've got networking going on for another 30 minutes.
I love Matt Paulson wants to hear Smoke on the Water. I think this group needs to modulate their expectations when it comes to my musical ability. Tim O'Boyle sent the guitar. That doesn't mean I know how to play the guitar.
That's awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Jake.
I'm going to head out. Bye, guys.